What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video, and here back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode episode 20, and it's time for the Mexican Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, it was at the USA Grand Prix, a crazy race with some weather coming to play. I highly recommend to go check it out, so already just a little bit of a spoiler alert, but we have some contract renewals with our sponsor, and I decided to leave everything in the same because they are the best options so far in this season. So it was just renew the contract, we didn't need to choose new sponsors, and it's time to adapt the new parts that are going to come to play with the new regulation change, which are going to be for the chassis and for the aerodynamic. And to my surprise, we adapt everything pretty easily, so that's worked pretty much. And then for the next rules of the next season, then I decided the final upgrade for our headquarters is going to be for the durability upgrade. During this first season I didn't invest that much in the durability, and that reflects a little bit in those all those grid penalties, you know, so I decided to give this final one. Is going to give us more results points throughout the week. But here we are on the garage, and we see the performance chart now. Racing Point is the second best team on the grid, so they are definitely making good inroads, especially for this Mexican Grand Prix, which is going to be the home race for Checo Perez. But you can see that everyone is not doing any sort of upgrades, and probably they are saving results points for the next season, is what I think. So I think the only team that brought upgrades, it was just a minor one, it was Racing Point. But we're going to focus on qualifying. Pace at this track has been absolutely marvelous. I'm so confident with the car at this track, and I think I don't know if we're going to get points, because I already seized the development, and I'm already starting to save some resource points and money, already thinking ahead in Season 2. But we'll see what we can do. A little bit of oversteer out of turn 2. The first sector against the eye is not the best, but then the second one, when you have those S's, is really a strong point, because I decided to carry a lot of wings on the front wing. We're like 7 wings in the front wing, and the rear one we are in full wings, so it's quite an unbalanced setup, I can say, but it really suits this car at this track. And I know that it has a lot of straight line speed parts this track, but it has some downforce one, especially in the second sector, which we are very strong due to our setup. But to my surprise, we set that lap, and we are at the moment in P12, so we can get through Q2 pretty easily. And I'm not the only surprise, because George Russell at the moment, it is in P13, so we're doing a great job. So Mr. Saturday is not anymore George Russell. I'm joining the club as well. But in this second lap, we're improving even more. The first lap was quite okay. Generally, my first lap is always dreadful, because I'm still getting used to the car, to these qualifying conditions, despite doing the qualifying sim program on practice 3. But we cross the line and we prove our time, and that is enough to get us through probably to the second phase of qualifying. Down in our second lap, I decided to go again in this same set of tires, and we've gone fastest on the second sector, so definitely this track is improving a lot in the closing stages of Q1, and we crossed the line. We didn't improve our time, we were 1/10 slower, but that is going to be enough to put us in the Q2, and maybe, I wonder if we're going to get to the top 10 shootout, because we are at the moment in P10. I know that this is early stages of qualifying, but you never know what can happen, and unfortunately George Russell and our teammate got knocked out, so George, I think, couldn't deliver a good second lap. But I was checking the difficulty just to see if it was like on 100 or 99, you know, but it is 103, what I'm used to. The difficulty I'm used to this game. It was generally, it is on 102-103. For this track I was feeling very strong. I decided to put 103, but yeah, it's sometimes very inconsistent in terms of which track they are. But at the moment it seems that this car really likes this track. Unfortunately our teammate couldn't deliver the pace, but we're doing that. I decided to try to qualify on the mediums, because we can try maybe a cheeky one-stop strategy, but no use. This is still a Tom Motorsport car. We are at the back of the field. I'm just doing some miracles like George Russell does in the real life Grand Prix on Saturday. But yeah, I decided to go on the mediums, because you can do an easy one stop from the mediums to the hards, but we can't do that, and we're down in the last place of the runners at the moment. So I decided to go for the soft tires, and you're going to join me for the rest of this lap. Already gaining buckets of time, almost gaining half a second, I should say, as we go through the double right-hander, and that was so much better, and we gained a lot of time. Now through the S session, you're going to see that I'm really confident through here. I'm just lifting a little bit on that first phase, and there we should be fine. A little bit loosey-goosey at the end of that S session. You can see me moving slightly the steering wheel. The car sometimes feels a little bit nervous, especially on qualifying, when you're giving everything and where you're extracting everything that you can from this car. But so far so good this lap, but we'll see if it is going to be enough to get us through to the top 10 shootout. 1 second up, 1.2 seconds up. It is enough to get us through to the top 10 shootout. For the time being, it is, because we are in P8 ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. So we had quite a mare probably in the first lap, but I decided to not simulate the session, because sometimes I can get mega fast. I can find like 1 second in the same compound of tires. But yes, it is enough to put us in the top 10 shootout. I think the last time that this happened, I think it was at Zandvoort at the early stages of the season, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, we are here in the top 10 shootout. Now we have 2 sets available of soft tires for this first run, which we're doing now. I'm going with the old set that I did in the first qualifying session, and then in the final one I'm going to do with a fresh set offered by Pirelli. But yeah, I'm really happy. I know that the pace was very good, but I wasn't expecting to be this good. So I'm in heaven at the moment, as we lose a bit the back end through the last corner, but I managed to save that. But it was a dreadful lap with 7/10 of Sebastian Vettel's fastest time, and then everyone crossed the line, and we are in last place with no surprise. But you can see that I was starting my second lap, but everyone got in the way, and everyone was in front very far, and I knew that I was getting some dirty air and I wasn't going to improve. So I decided to back off, get some space, and we are underway once again. We have enough fuel, and you can see that we're gaining buckets and buckets of time. We are almost 7/10 up. At the end of the first half a lap, not even, we are already in the second half of the lap as we go through the stadium session. Perfect right-hander, as you can see, so satisfying to you know, ride that curb on the outside line, and it was a very good line here. Maybe a little bit wide, not compromise the right-hander before at the penultimate corner, but here we go, final corner. We're going to gain one full second, and it's going to be P8 at the start of this Mexican Grand Prix, and this I think is our best qualifying result in this My Team series. So I was very close when I was recording this to get a nosebleed, because this doesn't happen every day. We are used to, in these last episodes, be knocked out of the first phase of qualifying, but it feels really good to be back at these places. It's been really a while, but we'll see what we can deliver in the race, because it's going to be really challenging. One thing is qualifying pace, another thing is the race pace. So we'll see what we can do. It's time for the Mexican Grand Prix.
Welcome along to the most populous city in North America, and home now to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shortest circuits on the Formula One calendar. So who, I wonder, will the crowd cheer on today to the top step of the podium? We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? There's a real chance they could win the title today. So how do you think they'll handle the pressure?
I think as long as they keep their mind on the task and not its historical significance, they'll be just fine. This is a race just like any other. You do the best you can and accept that sometimes things are going to happen outside of your control. If they can approach today with that attitude, the pressure shouldn't be a problem.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Albon, Lewis Hamilton and Stroll, Thomas, Sainz, Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly, Leclerc, Norris, Max Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Nick de Vries and George Russell, Latifi, Grosjean, Kvyat and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
here we are on the track, guys. With some grid penalties, we are promoted into P7. Welcome to the Mexican Grand Prix. Strategy-wise, is going to be a 2-stop, and we have 2 options: fit 2 sets of softs or fit 2 sets of mediums. For the time being, I'm going to fit the softs because they are the fastest tire, and I think it is going to be the strategy for the AI. Look at Checo Perez in the first row of the grid, in front of their own crowd, and away we go to the Mexican Grand Prix. 36 laps ahead of us. It's been a good start, but then the second phase I got a little bit of wheel spin and that compromise, and we already been overtaken by Carlos Sainz that is already alongside Lance Stroll as we go into turn 1. Look at Sergio Perez trying to go for the lead on the inside of Valtteri Bottas, and we go running outside of many cars, and we are alongside the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton. We lost a little bit the back end because I got a little bit too excited, but Checo Perez almost getting the lead of the Grand Prix, but he couldn't do that because remember that's a Mercedes. Oh, getting very close to the gearbox of Hamilton, and that is going to give us a chance to go on the inside through this 90-degree complex of corners, and we overtook a Mercedes on lap 1. So once again, we've been doing excellent lap 1 like Giovinazzi has been doing in the real life season. It's been a great start and we are ahead of the Mercedes, but to be honest, I don't know how much time I'm going to keep him behind me because let's be honest, that's a Mercedes. It has such a good straight line speed, you know, but for us it's heavens at the moment because we are in a position where we can score 10 points, but it's a long race, it's a 50% race. We need to stay calm, we need to nurse these tires. This is a high tire wear track, I reckon. It can really destroy our tires, especially the front ones, because of that S session can really destroy our tires. That the second sector really provides a lot of tire stretch. But here we go, and we finish lap 1 and we are in position 5. But we'll see, because Hamilton is getting very close. DRS is enabled. He's going to get DRS now, I believe. No, I think it is going to be in the next lap. No need to, because look at that rocket ship of a Mercedes engine, and there's nothing that I can do. And to be honest, I wasn't going to hold him up because sooner rather than later he was going to overtake me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to let Hamilton go. Maybe he can get some cheeky slipstream. I decided to finish straight if I can keep within that 1 second window for at least 1 lap. And I think that's the best thing that we can do, because Carlos Sainz is behind us, and if I was battling with Hamilton, I think Sainz would get that DRS and maybe would have a chance on me. So playing smart here, I don't want to get a rush. Hamilton is on a rush at the moment because there he is, so much fast. That is going in the next lap, in the next couple of laps, I believe. On lap 5, overtake Alexander Albon with no issue. And he's up into P4. But this is the race behind us. This is our rival Daniel Ricciardo. Tried to defend a run outside of Charles Leclerc, but nothing that he can do. And it's what we really need, these guys behind, which in theory they are faster to battle, because we need to get a safe window when we stop. In order to avoid the overcuts and the undercuts. But you can see that Hamilton at the moment is stuck on traffic because at the moment I think Sergio Perez is leading this little train, because he's not at the moment it seems that he's not finding the pace, and Bottas is waltzing away, so probably he's going to have the race in the bag. And me, I'm trying to catch Alexander Albon, which we're doing at the moment. I'm keeping at bay, and you can see in the stadium section that we're so close to his gearbox, but then in the last corner his exit is really good. So the Red Bull downforce coming to play, but I think we might have a chance to overtake the Red Bull. We're going to have some DRS. Is it going to have it? Nope. So this is going to give us a great chance to overtake the Red Bull, gaining. We're not deploying that much overtake because we have the help of the mega slipstream around this track. It has a lot of slipstream, this track. And here we go through turn 1, round the outside. We might overtake the Red Bull, giving a little bit of a squeeze to make sure that it runs out of room. And that says once again back into position 5 of this Mexican Grand Prix. But maybe Albon has a word to say no, because we are deploying some energy in order to make sure that it doesn't come back. But with all this signs, he's starting to catch us, and sooner or later maybe he can overtake Alexander Albon if we break the DRS window. But now lap 9, I decided to pit a lap early because these tires are absolutely destroyed. I decided to lose a lot of pace, and I had to deploy a lot of energy in order to keep ahead of the Red Bull. So it's been a very successful first stint. Maybe I would be happy with less tire wear, but in a nutshell, I'm really satisfied with this first stint. So we're going to fit a new set of soft tires. Maybe I should fit the mediums because the tire wear was pretty high, but the AI probably is going to be, almost everyone is going to be on the soft. Not the case of Carlos Sainz. You can see that he's on the medium tires, been overtaken by George Russell, and he's going to be behind Esteban Ocon as well. So he's going to find a hard time if these guys don't stop in the next few laps. But Esteban Ocon tried to take a slight look on the inside, so that was a bit scary. because he was carrying a lot of momentum through the start-finish straight, and with a lot of overspeed that resulted in a chance. But we press on with this race, and we'll see what we can do in this second stint. And we actually closed a lot on Hamilton, so the undercut kind of worked, and that put us in the DRS range. And ahead of Hamilton and Vettel is our teammate Nick de Vries, so it's been struggling a lot, but he can play on our favor, because now he's going to hold up these guys if these guys don't overtake him, and this can allow me to get close to Hamilton, maybe getting a cheeky slipstream thanks to the DRS once we hit once again the start-finish rate. And look how much he's holding up these two guys. So Nick de Vries is being my best friend at the moment, and maybe he's going to get a contract renewal, not being fast on the track, but maybe helping me with the strategy, I don't know. But you can see that he's being mega slow, and look how close that we are as we're sweeping through this S session. Absolutely satisfying to do. I can't do flat out in this car at the moment, but you can see Vettel is weaving all over the place, trying to overtake de Vries, and de Vries is on Sanji because Hamilton is dive on the inside. We're going to try to go round the outside of these guys, and we overtook Hamilton. No, we're alongside Hamilton, but we have an illegal overtake with de Vries. We have to let him go, and oh, that was so confusing. That was a misunderstanding for me, and that resulted in an illegal overtake. Tried to go round the outside of everyone, but I put all four wheels out of the track, and I reckon that was an illegal overtake. I needed to let de Vries go, but I lost so much time in to you know, give that position back. We lost the touch with this guy, so we're going to watch the replay. Beautiful helicam shot, and de Vries had nothing to do, anything to answer to these two guys in a much faster tires and cars. And then it was a little bit awkward. I think we made tiny bit of contact, but thankfully there was no front wing damage. So Vettel weaving all over the place. He doesn't know where to go. He's going to choose the outside line. Hamilton is on the inside. Vettel has to go through the long way around. Take a very wide line because Hamilton was occupying a lot of road, you know, and it was a bit kind of scary to de Vries, and Hamilton actually locked up a little bit. So that was very unfortunate, but that was an epic moment between the four cars. That was a bit stressful, but thankfully it ended everything well for everyone. And let's be honest, I wasn't going to overtake. Maybe I was going to overtake Hamilton, you know, and Vettel, but sooner rather than later, they were going to overtake me back, because let's be honest, that's a Ferrari and a Mercedes, and our car is in the back row of the grid, like I said in the beginning of this race when I was letting Hamilton go in the first stint. But we're going to see what he can do now. Albon seems to be very quick in this first stint. He's going to make a late lunge up the inside, but we managed to defend that. That was very late from the tie, and now a little bit loose through the first DRS zone, and Albon might have a chance because he has the DRS. He's deploying a lot of energy, and he's going to dive on the inside. I'm going to try to make the switch back, but no use because the dirty air is quite powerful in this section because there's a lot of slow zones. And as you can see, Albon gets through, and we're down into P6, which is a very good position, but that's a Red Bull. But we're going to watch the replay, and you see how late Albon was at turn 1. That was ridiculous to see, and just shows that how much confident Albon now is in this second phase of the race. And this is the race behind us, just right behind us. This is Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc seems to be really fast in this second stint as well. And he overtakes the McLaren, which is struggling at the moment in those medium comparative tires. I don't think that Sainz is going to carry those tires till the end of the race. But now this is second place. Sergio Perez under threat of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton trying to go round the outside. Perez trying to hold on around the outside. He's on the medium tire. It's going to be really hard to hold that Mercedes, as they're going to have now a drag race. But Hamilton is going to have the help of the DRS, and he's going to get that place. But Checo with a very strong performance at the moment in his home Grand Prix. He might score a podium in this race, because we'll see, because Vettel and Albon are starting to catch that racing point. But you can see how high the tire wear is at the moment, 60% in the space of 10 laps, and I'm really starting to struggle, and I'm getting a lot of understeer because of the high tire wear on the front tires, and now maybe a little bit on the rears. I will get a little bit loosey-goosey at the pit entry, and you could see in the replay cameras that Charles Leclerc was already catching me very quickly, because I was starting to lose a lot of performance due to the tires. I think that I always bad in any F1 game is that I'm very bad at tire management. I always want to be pushing and try to get ahead of many guys as we can, and that results in a high tire wear. And then in the closing stages of the stint, I always get super slow and these guys overtake me even before I do my stop, but we manage only just to get ahead, to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc. And this is Lance Stroll that is on the hard tires, so Racing Point doesn't think that they can carry the mediums till the end of the race. I think you just use the hard tires around this track when you're doing the one stop from the mediums to the hard. But now Vettel and Albon getting held up by one of the Alfa Romeos, and this allows us to getting very close, and maybe too close for comfort of Vettel. And Vettel gets very slow because I think he got scared for us of that close call, and that result is to go side by side through the final corner, and we overtook Sebastian Vettel. And that wasn't my intention to overtaking. My intention was stay behind because he was going to overtake, and I don't want battle Vettel because I don't want to lose time to Leclerc that is behind, as you can see in the replay camera. And now it's going to be a drag race. We have DRS, but Vettel with that Ferrari engine, which is not the best, let's be honest, he overtakes us. So just maybe he was getting some slipstream of Albon, and Vettel gets back ahead where he should be. And to be honest, that wasn't my intention to overtake. I think it was Raikkonen, the Alfa Romeo, was going so slow that I was carrying too much momentum, but thankfully we didn't lose any bits of our front wing. And now Vettel is going to start to get away, and here I lose a lot of time because of the dead here. But you could see that was so close, almost too close for comfort. And that allows us maybe have a chance on Vettel, and I was already alongside. I said, okay, let's try, why not? But Vettel got that position back, and we have to settle down for P6. We are still on the points in a very comfortable position, but now we have a very hard tax. That is, I'm going to try to nurse these tires as best as I can, because I know that Leclerc is going to be mega fast in these final few laps. And we skip all the way through to lap 29. It's been a very quiet stint, but we have some yellow flags. I think one of the Red Bulls is slowing down. Yes, it is Albon that is out of the Mexican Grand Prix, so we are up into P5. And that is very good news for us. Now we're scoring 10 points in this race, and there is Albon is out of the race, and I believe we're not going to have any sort of safety car because he was just he's already in the safe zone. He pulled off to the track, and we press on, and we are now in position 5 at this race, and this is very good news for us. It's going to mean a lot, especially in the midfield battle. This give us a great chance to be best of the race and maybe overtake Alfa Romeo in the Constructors' Championship. But now green flags once again, and now we have just 7 laps to go. So now it's just bring it home. Leclerc is still with the DRS range, but Bottas was leading. Bottas is out of the race. Full course yellow safety car has been deployed. Bottas is out of the race. The championship leader has pulled off to the right at the start-finish straight. Oh, this is so unfortunate for Bottas. He did nothing wrong, but Mercedes power betrayed him, and that is the Mexican Grand Prix coming to an early end for the Finn. Oh, and there is Hamilton that is going for sure overtaking in the championship standings, taking the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. Drama in the final stages, and now we're going to have maybe a 3-lap stint because we have a safety car, and that's so unfortunate for Bottas that was leading this race comfortably. He did nothing wrong, and that just shows how unfair this sport can be. And now Hamilton is going to take probably the championship lead, and Sergio Perez in second place in front of his own crowd. Can he take the lead of the Grand Prix? We'll see, but it's going to be really hard because who's leading is a Mercedes car. But imagine if Perez can win this race in front of this home crowd. But now we have 4 laps to go as the safety car is coming in. We're getting ready. I'm going to try to catch Vettel because we are in P4. We might get a podium. At the moment we're matching our best results, so we'll see what we can do. Everyone is starting to run. We're not running. I'm pressing full throttle desperately to get it underway, but the gaming was not letting me go, you know, restarting my own race. And and now Vettel is miles behind, so definitely we're not going to get a podium today. And Leclerc is going to get a chance as we're going side by side through the start-finish straight. And there is Gasly trying to go run inside as we're going to turn 1. We made contact with the Ferrari, a front wing damage. As now we're going on the outside, switch to the inside, very tight margins. As I lost a lot of brake performance, a lot of tire performance because I was going onto the tire marbles, and that resulted to turn a little bit on Leclerc to the understeer. And Leclerc now is defending from Gasly that had a chance on the Ferrari. But drama once again, like I was saying, drama in these last stages of the Grand Prix. So we're going to watch the replay. Mega job from Pierre Gasly, tried to get a double overtake. He was trying to go run inside. I didn't know that Gasly at the time was on the outside of Leclerc, so that's why I thought Leclerc was as well giving me some more room, but that resulted in me making contact, and we had front wing damage. But thankfully we are already on the last lap, and we managed to keep the gap on Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton is going to win the Grand Prix as we have some confetti with the Mexican colours at the stadium section, and for us we're going to match our best result which we had after the Canadian Grand Prix, as we lost a little bit the back end, and it's going to be 12 precious points on the championship title in a very positive and dramatic Mexican Grand Prix.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's victory in Mexico then, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Oh boy, this is the races that I always thought in my team career mode. Dramatic races at the last minute, everything counts, you must be 100% focused, even in the closing stages of the Grand Prix, and thankfully we managed to keep this position for the Hamilton. This means so much things in the championship standings. Bottas, so unfortunate, did nothing wrong, and the home hero, Sergio Perez, which in my opinion should be the driver of the day, but the late drama with the DNFs of Alexander Albon and Valtteri Bottas, and that has been the Mexican Grand Prix. And you can see in the championship standings, Hamilton and Vettel overtook the Finn, and now he's 22 points of the lead, so Hamilton can be world champion already in the next episode at Interlagos. I hope not. I really want to see these three guys fighting at Abu Dhabi, but this is a huge blowout in the championship. And constructor standings, we're finally ahead of Alfa Romeo, which they didn't score a single point, so we gained 12 points and we are ahead of these guys. But now is come the tricky part, which the final two races are really strong for the AI, and I don't see me scoring points. We'll see. Interlagos and Yas Marina are very good tracks for the AI, and probably this was our last time scoring points in Season 1. But a very positive episode, guys. That has been episode 20 of my Team Career Mode. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a cracking race, a very dramatic race at the end, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm trying to be consistent with the Career Mode. Once again, I said this in the last video. I really wanted to bring 2 videos per week of Career Mode, but I do videos on Assetto Corsa as well. Maybe I'm going to start to bring 2 per week of Career Mode once I stop to do Assetto Corsa, me testing those new tracks, because I'm doing this, and in the background I'm already preparing new things for Season 2, and I'm gonna tell you that you're going to be absolutely pumped once we start the second season of my Team Career Mode. But just a little spoiler to know. But guys, for me is everything, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time, but for now, it's goodbye.